All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever wondered how one of the most popular electric cars on the planet actually gets made? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the upgraded Tesla Model 3. You might know it by its code name, Highland. We're going to trace its entire journey from just a simple idea all the way to the super high-tech car you see cruising down the street. You know, this quote right here really nails it. This is so much more than just a story about a car. It's really about the whole process of rethinking what a vehicle can even be, from that very first sketch in a design studio to the robots buzzing around on the factory floor. So first things first, we have to understand the vision behind the whole project. The Highland wasn't just some minor facelift. Nope. It was a complete reevaluation of Tesla's most popular sedan, with the goal of improving pretty much everything, from how it cuts through the air to how it feels when you're sitting inside. What's really interesting is how they rolled this out. This upgraded Model 3 didn't just appear everywhere at once. It actually launched first in places like China and Europe, long before it hit the US. That tells you a lot about their global strategy, taking an already massively successful product and making it even better for a worldwide audience. And you've got to understand, this is a massive global effort. These cars are being built in some of the most advanced factories in the world. We're talking about the gigafactories in places like Shanghai, Fremont, and Berlin. Step inside one of those, and it's like watching a futuristic ballet, this incredible dance between human experts and super smart robots, all working together to bring these cars to life. Okay. Let's switch gears and jump into the design phase. How does this whole thing even begin? Well, long before any metal gets stamped or any software gets coded, every Tesla starts out as a simple idea, often just as a sketch with a pencil on paper. The whole process is like a funnel, as you can see here. It all starts with pure creativity, designers sketching out these beautiful artistic concepts. Once they land on a design they love, that art gets handed over to the engineers, who start the incredibly detailed work of turning it into a precise digital 3D model. Now for the Highland, the design team had a crystal clear mission: make this car slice through the air better. And you can see the results: that smoother front bumper, those slimmer, more aggressive headlights. Every single line on the car was refined to reduce wind resistance. And it worked. They actually lowered its drag coefficient, which means you get more range out of the very same battery. It's just smarter design. And this is where modern car design feels like science fiction. Using this powerful software called CAD, engineers build a complete virtual car, a digital twin. This lets them test absolutely everything before a single physical part is made. They can simulate a crash, see how air flows over the body, all of it right on a computer. It's amazing. So once that digital blueprint is locked in, it's time to head to the factory floor. This is where the vision starts to become a physical thing, and it's all built by an army of incredibly precise robots. The whole process kicks off with some serious force. We're talking about huge presses that come down with thousands of tons of pressure, stamping out body panels from these giant rolls of steel. Then, you see this army of robotic arms, and they lift and weld these panels together with millimeter-perfect accuracy. This is how the car's skeleton, its basic frame, is born. And get this, here's a wild number for you. It takes more than 4,000 individual spot welds to put together just one car body. I mean, that's a lot. And all of those welds are what create this super rigid, super safe frame. To make sure every single one is perfect, they use these advanced laser systems to scan every joint, checking for any tiny imperfection. Next up, the car body heads to the paint shop, which is probably one of the cleanest, most controlled places in the entire factory. Here, it goes through this meticulous, multi-layer process. Robotic arms dip and spray on each coat, from the anti-rust layers all the way to that final glossy clear coat that gives it that signature Tesla shine. All right, once the body is painted and looks perfect, it moves on to the general assembly line. This is where the car really gets its soul, its premium interior, and of course, its electric heart. And this slide right here perfectly shows one of the biggest upgrades for the Highland, the interior. They really wanted to create a more premium, more luxurious feel, so they swapped out standard materials for much nicer ones, added a ton of sound insulation to make the cabin way quieter, improved the seat cushions, and even added that really cool ambient lighting that wraps around the cabin. And now for the heart of the car, the battery and motors. The heavy battery pack is installed right into the floor of the car, and this is a genius engineering move. By putting all that weight way down low, it gives the car an incredibly low center of gravity. What does that mean for you? It means that sporty, stable handling that these cars are famous for.
So when you buy one, you basically have three main choices. You've got the standard range, which is rear-wheel drive. Then you've got the long range and the performance models, and both of those have two motors, one for the front and one for the back, giving them all-wheel drive for better traction and, of course, a lot more power.
But hold on, the journey is not over yet. Just because the last bolt is tightened doesn't mean the car is ready. Before any car leaves that factory, it has to go through a whole series of intense quality checks and real-world tests.
You'll see engineers walking around with tablets going over every single vehicle, checking hundreds of different points. They're looking at panel gaps down to the millimeter, running diagnostic checks on the car's computer, testing every single sensor and camera, all to make sure it meets Tesla's super strict quality standards. And from there, the cars are really put through the ringer. They're taken out on special test tracks for extreme braking and handling maneuvers. They're put through simulated crashes and safety labs, and they're even tested in the most extreme climates you can imagine, from freezing cold mountains to scorching hot deserts, to make sure they'll work perfectly no matter where you live. So, after all of that, from that first pencil sketch to the final road test, we get to the big question. What is it that makes the Model 3 Highland so special to so many people? Why all the hype?
Well, let's start with the practical stuff. If you look at the pricing here, it's a really strong competitor in its class. But the big one is range. With up to 500 kilometers or even more on a single charge, it basically eliminates range anxiety, which is one of the biggest things that holds people back from buying an EV.
And the performance numbers? They're just impressive, plain and simple. We're talking top speeds of up to 260 kilometers per hour. But maybe even more important is the fast charging. You can pull into a supercharger and add hundreds of kilometers of range in just 15 or 20 minutes. That makes road trips a total breeze.
So in the end, it's this powerful mix of things that makes it so popular. It's got that futuristic design, the instant acceleration, and the long range. But it's also the stuff you don't get with other cars, like over-the-air software updates that literally make your car better while it's parked in your garage. Throw in lower maintenance costs, and you've got a really compelling package.
And that really brings us to our final thought. The Model 3 Highland isn't just an updated car. It feels like a real, tangible piece of the future. It's a preview of a world where clean energy and smart technology aren't just getting along, they're actually pushing each other forward. It really makes you wonder, what's going to come next?